Savannah, good morning. This is a nightmare scenario that keeps playing out again in America day after day. Anytime you hear a student describing to me, which I did last night, going into survival mode when they're walking into a classroom, you're left with the realization this is going to affect them for the rest of their lives. Police right now investigating whether or not a fist fight prompted that gunfire, and they are looking at multiple videos, which we have to warn you are disturbing.
Outside, heavily armed law enforcement blanketing Timberview High School, while inside, students and staff on lockdown for hours following a school shooting. All of it enough to bring a flood of emotions from panicked parents and terrified teens.
I immediately start calling my son, calling.
Like, he could come here and hurt us too. That isn't fair.
Police have 18-year-old Timothy Simpkins in custody. They say just after a fistfight, he discharged his gun around 9 in the morning, injuring 4 people, 1 critically. He's facing 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
I need help!
Arlington PD confirms they're investigating this video showing one student picking up another and slamming him several times. But they're not confirming the identity of anyone in the clip. Nor are police discussing what appears to be 6 shots heard in this video. On the 2nd floor and just down the hallway from the shooting, Mimi, a 10th grader, hid behind a desk.
You know, I was shocked. I was kind of numb. I couldn't believe this was happening.
12 hours later, her mother is still shaken.
I just kept testing her. I just said, Mimi, just hold on. God is in control. Just keep praying. Just hide.
Mimi sent her mom this text, which read in part, "I heard the gunshots because my classroom was near it. Then a police officer was like, 'Put your hand up.'" Her mom responds, "We'll call your dad. Are you okay?"
Do you feel like you'll ever be able to see school through the same lens again?
No, I think I won't. I would remember this day, probably the rest of my life.
Later in the day, SWAT cars surrounding the alleged shooter's house and entering a neighborhood with high-powered rifles. Students inside teacher Dale Topham's classroom stacked chairs and tables in front of the door as a barricade. Topham explaining what students believe as the possible motive.
I heard my students talking amongst themselves, and they said that he had been bullied at school, apparently repeatedly, and he wasn't going to take it anymore.
So far, authorities have declined to comment on what role, if any, bullying has played in this episode. But even in a state like Texas with looser gun laws, guys, you cannot conceal carry as an 18-year-old, and you certainly cannot bring a firearm onto campus unless you're a security officer. Savannah, back to you.
All right, what a tragedy. Sam, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.